So, Gary Kalassi, I'm the CEO at Alexa Translations. This is our sixth webinar on the topic. Bill 96 has been certainly a piece of legislation that has been top of mind for many of you doing business in Quebec and that are based out of Quebec. And with the regulations that came out at the end of June, it provided an opportunity for us to say, let's do actually a further one to address any clarifications, but also to think through what are some of the practical steps and considerations that should be there for in-house counsel, marketing communications teams, HR departments. It affects multiple departments within each organization.
The June 26 amendment gave a couple additional conditions that you need to take into account to meet Bill 96. And so it basically, it defined what is considered to be a related document to a contract, because if you notice in section Article 55, which is the section on contracts of adhesion in the Charter of French language, basically alludes that a contract has to be available in French unless both parties have agreed to, or unless after having seen the contract of adhesion, both parties agree to sign it in another language. And it also includes any other related documents. And so what the June amendment defined as other related documents to a contract of adhesion includes a document attesting the existence of the actual contract. So an example that they give is a certificate of insurance, for example. So you might get the policy, but then you actually get a little certificate, like a travel insurance certificate, for example. The second example was where it's legally required to have an annex to the contract, for example. So an example that they give is a termination form. So under the Consumer Protection Act, there are certain types of contracts that require to have a termination form annex to the contract of adhesion. And then they have a catch-all, which is basically anything that's considered to be accessory. So that gives us a little more background on what can be considered to be a related document to a contract of adhesion. And they also talked about technological, how you can ensure that you're using technology and meeting the requirements. So they talk about phone, because there are certain people that come into enter into a contract via the phone. And so the question I think that was asked to the government was, how do you ensure that you've provided a French version of a contract if you're dealing with someone over the phone? Because it's not like you can show them the contract over the phone unless you're using maybe Teams or something. So the way the government responded with the amendment was that you need to ensure that the French version of the standard clauses have been consulted through some technological means, which could be the use of Teams, for example,